Okay, welcome to another video. So in this one, we are going to work on web application development. Under web application development, we are going to work on this activity 4, dynamic web application development. So here we are having two tasks. The first one is create a simple login form, but in this case still we don't know how to connect the application to a database. So therefore in this case, so we are going to compare this username and password by using hard coded values. Okay, and the second one is actually an interactive application which is a quiz. Okay, so in this video we will focus on the first one, how to develop first one. So in the first one, so we need to have a HTML form, and so the user can submit their username and password through that one. And after that we are going to redirect users to the login.php file, and then we are going to check whether user's password is correct or not. If that is not correct, so then we are going to display a message to the user, username or password is incorrect. Otherwise we are going to redirect user to the home.php file. So in this activity, the main concepts or the main theories that we are going to use is how to pass a query string, and how to use redirect function, and how to use some validations. Okay, so that mean so here we need to use the required field validation. So how we are going to use this required field validations when we are working with forms. So those are the theories or concepts that we are going to touch in this activity. So let's start this one. First I'm going to create a small login form. So I will go to the NetBeans IDE, and I'm going to create a project, PHP project. Okay, so now so we discussed that we can use this HTML palette. So we can go to so if this is not enabled, you can go to Windows and then IDE tools, and then go to palette, and here we can see HTML form, two palettes are there. So here now we are going to add a form. So I'm going to add a form now, and the action is login.php. So I told you that action means to where we are going to submit this information, and then the next one is the method means how we are going to submit. So in this case we are going to submit some sensitive information like username, password. So in that case we learn that when you are passing sensitive information, so we need to use the post means actually we are using the request body to send this information. If you are using get means we are using the URL to send the information, but in this case we are going to use post. So after that we need to add a label here, that is username, and username is actually a uh, text input. So therefore I'm going to use text input option element here, and I will give the name as username, and it's a text. I will click OK, and we will have breaking tag here, and then the next one is password. So here I'm going to add a text input again, here, and now this will be password, the name, and here the type is password now. Okay, so this type is password. I'm going to click OK, and then we will have a breaking tag again here, after another breaking tag. So we will add the submit button. So again it's a input type button. Okay, so we can see button is here, so we are going to add button, and here we will give the label as login, and this will be a submit button. So now so I will run exam server first. Okay, so this is our simple login form. So now we are going to create a login.php. Why? So we are going to submit this information to the login.php. So that means we need to have a login.php to get this input. So now I'm going to create a page here. So once you are going to create a page, you can see that we can create different types of PHP pages here. So if you need to output something to the browser or to the user, so then here you can use this PHP web page. Or else if you are not outputting anything to the browser, so then it's okay to go with this PHP file. So here in login.php file I'm not going to output anything. Okay, so if my login information is correct, so then I'm going to redirect this user to home.php. If this information is wrong, then I'm going to redirect user to the index.php again. So therefore the login.php is not going to output anything to the browser or to the user. So therefore I'm going to use a PHP file here, and I will give the name as login. Now in this case, the first thing is, so uh, we need to first check whether this username and password is set. Okay, so that is the first validation we need to do in this case. So if so is set $_post, and here the first one is username, and next one is uh, password. Okay, first we are going to check this one. Okay, and if you need to have another validation in this case, so if you need to check whether the post request comes to the login.php file, then we can have additional if condition as well in this case. Okay, so that means if you think that, okay, so I'm going to execute this code if there's a post request from the user side, so then we can add additional one here. If $server and the request method equal to post, then only we are going to do it. So we can add this kind of validation as well first if you need. Okay, if there's a post request from the user side, so then we are going to check whether the username and password is actually set by the user, and then after that we are going to check whether these values are empty. Okay, so that is the first thing we are going to check. If empty, $username or empty $password. So if empty $username or empty $password, that means username or password is not set by the user. So then we can pass a message to the user that the username. So you must enter a value to username and password. Okay, so we can pass a message like that. So I will use header function here to pass this message. So header, and so we are going to use the keyword location here, and then we are going to redirect this user into the index.php. Now I'm going to add query string. So how we are going to separate the query string and the URL by using a question mark, and then I'm going to give the key value pairs. So here I'm giving the key as error, okay, error, and I'm going to assign a value like 1. So we are going to send this if you are going to send this redirect this user with error 1, so then we are going to display a different message to the user. If this is not any of this not empty, okay, so then we will move to the else part. So now we will go to the index.php, and we will change our code to get this value, because now we are having error 1 as well, okay. So now I'm going to this page, and here if error, so if this error is set, okay, so if this dollar get error, because now we are passing now we are redirecting user uh, with error as well. So but we are sending this as a query string, so therefore we are going to use a dollar $get from the index.php side. And if this is set, okay, and then we are going to check whether this is 1, because we are passing 1 in the first time. So therefore if this dollar $get error is equal to 1, okay, so if this is equal to 1, so then we are going to display a message. What's the message? So you must enter a value, you must enter a value to username and password fields, username and password fields. Okay, so this is the message we are going to display. So if we need to display it in a kind of a different way, so that means if you need to display it in a red color, so then we can change it like this. So we can add a style here. Okay, so now I'm going to run this one, and I'm going to submit this information without adding any value. Okay, let's see what is this error. So you can see it's on line 8. So I will go to the code, and so this is my login.php file, and this 7th line, and this is the 8th one. So here you can see that okay, so erase this one. So I mistakenly use this square bracket like this. Okay, so now I think the error is fixed. So now I will run it again. Okay, now you can see this is the login form. I'm going to submit this login without any information. So then I'm getting a validation message. So that means error message, you must enter value to username and password fields. So here you can see we are passing error 1 and as data from the login page to index page via a query string. So now we will move to the next part of this activity. So in here the next part is we need to check whether this username and password is correct. So before that I will hardcode two usernames and passwords. So I will name it as db username, since still we didn't learn how to connect the PHP application to a database. So therefore we will go in this approach now. So I will use test as username and password, and now if this username and password is not empty, so then I'm going to check whether this username and password is matched with the user entered username and password. So in that case, so I'm going to use equal to db username. Okay, so if this becomes true, and the other part, so other part is dollar underscore post password equal to, so here we can use 3 equals to check the type and value both, and here so we are going to use dollar $db password. Okay, if this is true, so then that means user enter the correct username and password. In that case, so I'm going to redirect this user to home.php file with some query string here, because we need to pass according to our activity. So here we can see we need to pass the username, because we need to display this message to the user. So then we need to pass the username of this user. So we are going to use the query string here. So how we are going to add a query string? So we are going to separate the URL and query string by using a question mark, and after that I can add a keys u, and now the value. So here value is this one. Okay, so I'm going to add this value into my query string like this. Okay, if this is wrong, if username or password is wrong, so then again we are going to send this user to the index.php file like in the previous case. So we are going to send this user uh, to index.php file with an error. So this time we will make this error as 2. So now we need to define what is this error 2 means. So in here, so we are having this error 1, else if, okay, else if this error is equal to 2, okay, so then we are going to display this message. So this is the message: username or password is incorrect. So we are going to display this message to the user. Okay, so we are going to display this message to the user. Okay, we have a small issue here. Okay, now it is okay. Okay, we are not closing this one. Okay, now it's okay. So we can say this is how we are going to show it. So now in this case, if the username and password correct, so we are going to we are moving user to the home.php. So now we need to add a home.php file as well. So this is a PHP web page, because we are going to output something to the user. So this will be home.php, and in this home.php, the first thing we need to do is we need to check whether so we have set it this uh, key. So that is dollar get u. So because we added u as the key here, so you can see when you're passing this one, so we added u as the key. So first we are checking whether that is there. If that is there, so we are going to print this message to the user. um, so this one, this is the message, hello username, and this one. So I'm going to copy and paste it here, and we need to replace this username with this one. Okay, okay, like this we can replace this username. Okay, so this is how we are doing it. First we are checking whether we are getting a key a key as the u. So then if we are getting it, okay, so if so we need to use is set here. So if you are if this username is set it by the previous page, so then we are going to display the message hello, and this one, and we will go to the login page here. So I think when we are discussing the theories, we learned that if after using this header, so normally we need to use this exit. Okay, exit keyword in all the places. So that is the recommended approach that we are going to add now. Okay, let's see whether our application is working now. So now I'm running this one. So I will get this page. So I'm going to submit this without any username or password. So then I will get a validation message. So now it is error 1. So I'm getting error 1 from the server side. It is you must enter a value to username and password. So now I'm going to add a different username here, and I'm going to log in. So now it's telling that username or password is incorrect because I'm getting error 2 from the server side, because that's how I coded here. So you can see if this username and password is incorrect, so then I'm going to pass this error 2. Now I'm going to add the correct username and password. Now I'm going to log in. Okay, we came to login.php. Okay, we will make it as this only. So we are going to check only the value here, and I will run it again. So I will run this application again, and I will use test as the username and test as the password here. Okay, again we are getting the same issue. We will see what is this. If the correct username and password, so then we are coming to this position. Okay, sorry, so actually we forgot to add this one. So then so I will keep those equals like this. We will check the type, and so I thought there's an issue in this case, but no, that is not the case. So in this one we forgot to add this keyword location. Okay, so we should add this keyword location when you are going to use this header. So that is how we are passing the location that we need to redirect this user. Okay, so if I forgot to add it, so now I add it. So now I will run it again. So now I'm going to add the correct username and password. Okay, so now I'm redirecting to home.php file, and you can see we are passing value from our previous page. So that means the login.php page, that is the username of this user under the key u. Okay, so we use this username inside this page like this, hello test, and welcome to my first application. So that is how we are going to do this activity. Thank you.